Hello again, this is MsLambLambs, and today I am going to show you a little base game rental build that I actually built a couple weeks ago. I have been meaning to do this voiceover for such a long time, but between having family finally in town, it's been so long since I've been able to see them, and a lot of other things kind of just like all happening at once in life, I just didn't get a chance to do it, so here I am. I wanted to do a base game build because it's been a long time since I've actually done like a more accessible pack sort of build, and I just figured, a rental sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like something that, everybody could enjoy. So I hopped into Oasis Springs and I built the little thing that you see in front of you here. I went ahead and outlined the build in these flagstone pieces. It took me a second to kind of decide how exactly I wanted to do that. But the things that I knew I wanted were some plants in the front, a pool in the back, and then a couple of bedrooms. So that way a whole little family could go ahead and enjoy the space here. I do use some debug objects in this build, though I'm not sure exactly when it comes in. But I really like to layer up a lot of plants and a lot of fun things like that. So even though I'm starting not with the live edit objects and the debug objects now, I do come back in with them a little bit later. But I mean, if you've been watching my Twitch stream, the last several streams, I was working on a house that had a crazy garden. So I love to layer up plants like that. I wanted to have a really fun sort of window scheme to give it that not quite a home vibe, if that makes sense. Something where it's like, yeah, I guess somebody could live here, but this is more for show than it is for anything else. But I did want to make sure there were a lot of windows. I wanted to make sure that the backyard was accessible, so I actually end up kind of changing a little bit of that pattern there in a little while. But I loved the idea of just lots of light, lots of openness to really give a sort of airy feel. I have a little upstairs balcony, as you saw, and I was having a hard time kind of deciding how I wanted to do the stairs because I do this thing sometimes where I'll get into the meat and bones of the build and completely forget to make the upstairs accessible. I've been doing a little bit better since this particular build where I really realized just how much I struggled. But that's okay. Everything's a learning process. So here I went ahead and made sure there were lights in the pool, added a couple little decorations and stuff. Was really on the fence about how exactly I wanted the layout for the floor plan to be, and that was roughly where I realized, I didn't leave room for any bathrooms, so I fixed that pretty quickly. And then I ended up going with a very warm red and brown scheme for most of this build, partially because we're in Oasis Springs and so it just felt fitting, but also partially because frankly I don't use a lot of mission type objects and wallpapers and tiles because mission isn't really my favorite, so I kind of challenged myself a little bit to give it that mission vibe, even though I didn't go out of my way to make it completely mission. I'm not gonna claim I did, but I wanted it to be interesting and to use some items that maybe I haven't used in a long time. I do end up changing the outside just a bit here, but I really love how I have the split color for what appears to be almost like an addition there. And then I changed the roofing there to be red with a brown trim. And here is where I realized, oh wait, I wanted this to be accessible, whoops. And so I went ahead and got that taken care of, as well as adding a little bit of a trim around the pool there. I wanted to put in some archways, and of course had to find a good base game door to use for everything, and then got started in on the kitchen. It was really hard to kind of decide how I wanted to do things, especially right here with counters. I would have loved to figure out a good way to have minimal clipping, but an entirely diagonal sort of feel right there, and I thought I could do it with the other base game counters that you had seen for a half second there, but I just couldn't figure it out, and you know, at the end of the day, I just want this to be accessible. I don't want it to be so difficult that your sim is going to be placing things in midair just because of the crazy clipping. I feel like it's a little bit game-breaking when things like that happen. And here is where I turn on the live edit objects and the debug stuff, because I wanted more clutter, and base game, I love ya, but where's my clutter? You know, where's my clutter? I think I even go as far as to put like, I think I put like a fork or something on the shelving there, just because I couldn't find anything else that I really liked. But man, it was such a struggle to make this place look like it could be lived in. Yeah, see, here's where I'm adding some rocks and things like that. And then I realized, oh my gosh, you know, I was supposed to be going and doing clutter in the kitchen, and I got very distracted. But yeah, so there's that fork, and there's a little spray bottle. I added a couple more plants, a few more cactuses, things like that. I just really wanted to make it feel like there was a lot going on, even though I was only using the base game. Right around here is where I realized, you know, I am kind of getting distracted again. I was supposed to be doing the inside. Let's just go back into the inside. And I threw in some cabinets, did my little light trick like I always do. Maybe not at this exact moment, but you know it's coming. Right here. And had some issues with the camera with that wall height. But it's okay, it ended up working out. I changed up a little bit of the walling that I think I had missed, and then threw in just a dining table, a nice rectangular one with some chairs. It took me a minute to kind of get the configuration I wanted, but it ended up looking nice. And then I threw a couple of paintings on that wall. Again, I keep getting distracted. I feel like I always have this goal of having just like one particular room done, just getting it done, and then I see something where I'm like, oh, I wonder if this could work here or here, and get so derailed that I actually end up having trouble with it. So here I'm looking for clutter again, figuring out exactly what I want to do. The hardest part about the debug menu is that I feel like I'm scrolling just indefinitely. I've mentioned before that I'm trying really hard to add curtains in more often, because I feel like that was always one thing that I sincerely just lacked in my builds. So here I'm making a point to put in a bunch of interesting curtains, and making sure that for the most part, most of the curtains are on the house match. I tried to use some curtains that I don't really use, some that feel a little bit more like drapey. Like, I know that they could also be called drapes, but I really mean like droopy drapey, you know what I mean? I threw on a TV, and I was trying to figure out exactly how I wanted this part to be laid out, so that way nothing was really blocking the stairs. And also, this felt like such an open area that after I added a few items, I do end up just blocking in the staircase a little bit, and then adding, I believe, a bookcase next to it. Oh, and then I added the little chicken on top of that vase. I really thought I did something there, but I thought it was cute. I really like combining objects with the move objects option on to make something just completely new and silly. And then I add a bunch of little plants in here to really just break up the amount of brown and orange and yellow that I have in here. I think it really helped out. But I didn't want to take away from it too much, you know what I mean? Sorry, my phone is going off in the background. I would edit it out, but I don't think anybody really minds. My boyfriend is currently in California, and I make sure to have my sound on so that way I can hear when he texts me. Yeah, so here's where I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with this bookcase, and this is where I realize, oh, you know what would look just fine? Putting a nice dividing wall there, and then I go ahead and put that fun accent color on there, make the behind area kind of like a storage. I really like using those leaned up against the thing paintings lately. And then I threw in some bathroom items. I basically made the bathrooms practically identical. It just makes it a little bit easier, and frankly it looks a little bit more like a rental when everything's sort of like all the same. I threw in the same lights that I was using in other parts of the house, and then got to work on the first bedroom here. I was using more of these mission style items here, like that dresser and the mirror, and then I threw in a little seating area, made sure there was some light. It does feel like a little bit of a dingy, kind of dark room, but I think it ended up being okay. And then here I add 2 beds. So sorry, Mom and Dad, you don't get to share a bed in here. The layout was a little too funky, and I just didn't want to feel cramped. I threw in a few more lights here and there. Wanted to get mostly matching items. They didn't have to be perfect, but I just kind of wanted to keep the same motif just wherever I could. Added a couple mirrors in the bedrooms to make the rooms appear a little bit bigger, and then threw down some rugs. Up here I decided to put a sort of like home gym. I don't know, it gave me the vibe. All those windows and stuff with this archway, I was just like, what do people do on vacation? And while going to the gym isn't exactly at the top of my list, I was kind of thinking about how so many people really love going to hotel gyms. And I was like, you know, just because they're not in a hotel doesn't mean they have to sacrifice that. And besides, it's a great use of the space. So here I'm adding in some more rugs to break apart that tile a little bit here, putting some finishing touches along the outside, places to sit, a little bit of decor, things like that. Making sure there's flooring, checking what I like, and let's jump on in. I really like how this house ended up turning out. It's really difficult sometimes with base game, but I threw a family in there on their little vacation. Here's the son dancing, having a great time. Mom is hitting the gym there, enjoying the nice sunny day, struggling a little bit. And then we have a nice little shot of the bathroom here. See what I mean? Like, this whole little area does feel a little bit dark. If I could do something to fix that, I mean, honestly, it's hard to want to just put more lighting in there. The only thing I would do maybe is add saucer lights. Here we have some activity time with Dad and son. And we get to watch Mom hanging out in the pool. Clearly, she's the active one here. But I hope you guys really enjoyed watching this build. Again, I'm so sorry it's been such a long time since I posted anything. Just, you know, life gets in the way sometimes. But thanks again for watching. Stay safe out there, and I hope to speak with you again soon. Bye-bye.